Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Lover's card. This to me is a choice. This is a union, for one thing, right? What I'm feeling first off with this card is like you have this ability to create. You're a very creative person, aren't you? Because I feel like there's something in you that's able to exactly mirror like the vision that you have in your head out into reality. See, this is a Gemini card. So I'm kind of feeling this like reflective energy. And I think that's really an extraordinary gift. Your ability to take your vision and shape it in reality. You know, the way you see it in your head is the way it comes out on paper. Now, I used to know kids in school that were that kind of artist, that, you know, they could look at a photograph of something and they could kind of think about it and they could draw it exactly the way. Now me, I'm good at visualizing. I can picture something in my head clear as day. But if I try to draw it on paper, it's like chicken scratch and stick figures and hieroglyphs, right? Doesn't make any sense. I'm not a visual artist in that way. Maybe you are. Maybe this is a different kind of reflection for you. It's your ability to take what's inside of you and reflect it out into the world. That kind of creativity. It doesn't mean you're good at drawing. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. And it means that you are creative. You are the artist of your own life. You're doing soul art, right? You're taking the vision that's in your imagination, the vision that's inside of you, in your soul. And I believe that you're mirroring it out in the world. You're able to mold it and shape that vision into reality. I feel like this is a choice. This is a commitment to that process. There is something in you that wants you to reflect it out into the world. Give it shape, Taurus, give it shape. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. I want you to claim this reading right away. If you're going to give your vision shape, something's stopping you. There is some resistance here. Okay. 3 of Swords, 8 of Cups. There is the Leo energy, the lust or strength. That is the magical passion. That's kind of the vision in a way, yeah? We have a 4 of Cups. We have a 2 of Wands. Over here we have a Queen of Swords, a Queen of Cups. We have a 6 of Wands and an Ace of Cups. That is beautiful. I feel like your creativity is really the doorway to your destiny right now, okay? I feel like a lot of discipline is going to kind of allow you or enable you to take your inspiration and kind of turn it into like consistent and like tangible results, okay? Because we have this Leo energy, we have this lust card, and we have this kind of control energy here with the 2 of Wands, a very strong energy, okay? I think that there's a kind of like a recent idea, or there's some kind of a vision inside of you right now that carries the seed of your destiny. And I think Spirit really wants you to focus on that and begin mirroring that out into the world. And even that 6, right? That 6 of Wands is kind of that mirror image. Okay? So that's really, I think, it's something inside of you but there's doubt, there's resistance. And that resistance may show up as like delays, as kind of like obstacles. But I think that it really is like the challenges that you're facing right now, they're kind of like, they're they're giving you the chance to really prove it, to prove your commitment, really demonstrating that you really want this, okay? Let's select the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right over here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley right there on top. And we're not going to take you to our leader until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comment section down beneath the video. Now, as we look around the room, we see 1, 2 major arcana energies. Something is inside of you, inspiring you. Okay? Inspiring you to create something, to choose to do this, to choose to plant this creative seed. Okay? But there's some resistance. So we have our majors. We have fire and fire. We have water, water, water. More water up here. We have our air cards. We don't have any earth cards right now because I think you haven't yet started to do this, maybe. It hasn't really reached that level of material manifested reality yet. It's still inside of you. And Spirit wants you to start molding it and shaping it out of like the material stuff. Like get the clay and start building it, And also the absence of the earth energy reminds us that it doesn't matter what this is. I always say that. It doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is how and why. Okay? And if you know the why and you commit to the why, you'll figure out the how. Okay? So the Three of Swords to me is a card of resistance, that maybe you've been discouraged in life from being creative or being like artistic, or of believing in your vision. Okay, sometimes this is a card of sorrow. Sometimes this is a card of complexes or an internal kind of resistance that shows up. That's sort of delaying this choice. It's something that's kind of getting in the way of you really making this choice, making this commitment, marrying yourself to whatever this idea kind of thing is. Okay, maybe the Three of Swords is like past rejection, and that might be really like the past rejection. And it at first can be resistance. It can be like there's an obstacle now, and I don't want to do it because I've tried to do it before and it didn't work out. Okay, but I wonder if this past rejection, if we can use this to kind of like, through your discipline, use that past rejection to sort of refine your voice. Because the Lover's card is really like, it's a card of prophecy, right? It's a card of you like speaking and doing and expressing what you're really truly meant to express, the role that you're really meant to play in this world. Yeah. And if we look at it this way, we see that inspiration, that discipline, okay, that sort of, that is transforming, that the discipline plus the choice, the commitment, okay, to do this work, then becomes kind of practical efforts out in the real world. This is you controlling the material world, using your will, okay? This is a card called Dominion. And so it's Mars and Aries. It's basically saying that if you have your discipline and your commitment, you can do anything. You can control how this world looks. In a relative way, of course, okay? But this resistance is showing up, okay? And I wonder if some of this on the vertical path, the challenging water energy and the Three of Swords here, I wonder if this is past rejection. I wonder if that is kind of almost a positive thing, because I think it did help you to refine your voice, and it's helping you to sharpen your focus, okay? I almost feel like the heartbreak or the sorrow that you've experienced, the challenges that you've experienced in life, kind of like are making you more like raw and more powerful. Okay, especially if you're an artist, right? Think of it kind of in those terms. But maybe you don't consider yourself an artist, but you are. And you are very creative. And you have this ability to take your vision and shape it into reality. And I think the things that could be blocking you could actually be used as fuel for that refinement, because it makes you like it. You've been experienced, you know, and I think that you have that that edge to you. Okay. Now the Eight of Cups underneath the surface. This is that feeling of almost like sinking, almost as if we're not ready to take a chance again because we feel like there's going to be a storm out there. Okay, this is somebody that's really expecting the worst. This is a very pessimistic kind of card, and I think it's because of past events that are kind of making you feel like, well, I've been there, done that. I don't want to do that again. You know, that you've tried maybe to do something like this, or you've experienced rejection before, and so it kind of makes you not all that willing to go and do it again. Yeah, and so this is us expecting the worst. Yeah, but I feel like this is kind of like, this is part of that depth of experience where you're pulling some of this creativity. Again, I'm getting this kind of like raw and powerful feeling from you because of the things that you've been through in the past. And I think that that we don't need to reject this energy. I think we need to embrace it. And I think if we embrace who we are and the things we've been through and our history, and we sort of realize that it's part of us, it's not going anywhere. We can't get rid of it. Okay? We embrace that. We find a way to use that, to sublimate that into kind of just this raw creativity and this almost like a self-confidence, you know. And I think you really have an opportunity here to manifest something extraordinary. Your destiny is calling to you. Okay, trying to pull you out of this sort of this swampy type of energy, because right now with Saturn and Pisces, Saturn and Libra here, right? These kind of double Saturn energies. This is either the restriction of Saturn, right? The really hard boundaries of Saturn kind of preventing your progress. It's saying, yeah, I want to do all this. I mean, look how good this horizontal path is. This could really be like, if you put in the work, you could really do something extraordinary. Okay? But this is resistance. This Saturn is restricting you, squeezing you, holding you back. Or Saturn can be the planetary energy, right, of discipline, of commitment and fortitude. So it's your choice, really. Lover's card, choice. It's your choice if you're going to let your history hold you back, right? Or if you're going to let it empower you. You can use it either for discipline, for commitment, for that raw kind of, that raw energy, or you could allow it to just be like a ball and a chain that's holding you down, holding you back from this destiny, okay? In the past position, of course, is that Leo energy. This is a very creative card. This is a passion card. It's a lust card, right? And I think that, this is a lot of your creative energy that you have inside of you, right? We have to make the choice to start connecting that with the material world. Otherwise, this doesn't get to manifest, right? This is the ultimate kind of fire and earth connection. We're just looking for the earth card. Mystery card probably will be the earth. So I feel that this is also the discipline. And this is something that, you have that creative inspiration. And if you make the choice, right, and you apply your discipline to this, it's going to be extraordinary. Okay? This is the resistance that we're feeling. But the strength card is courage. The strength card is discipline, and fortitude and self-control. Okay? Your discipline is going to help to transform this into, real tangible results. Okay? And the Four of Cups, this is in a way a safe harbor kind of card. Yeah. And so it feels like this is the turning point. This is the threshold. We feel this resistance, but what we're kind of looking at is that idea that, it's safe here. And I don't mind all the time if Saturn is holding me back and telling me no, and there's this internal resistance, and it's just kind of like, maybe it's just safer to stay where I am. Maybe it's safer to not do this. Okay? Because the Four of Cups to me feels like someone who got out of a storm and now doesn't want to sail their boat anymore. You have some really rough experience out on the water, kind of don't want to go back out there. You don't want to get back on the horse. You don't want to get back on the boat. And so we just kind of park it and we just say, nah, I don't want to. It's not worth it. And to me, that is the idea of letting our past kind of win, letting our pain kind of win. And that's the shadow side of Saturn, right? Holding us back, preventing our creative expression. This is the sailboat that's not sailing. This is the painter that's not painting. This is the dancer that's not dancing. The creator that's not creating. The magician that's not doing magic. Okay? So the choice here really is whether or not you're going to step out or step back on the boat and go sail again. Go do it. Go, express this part of you and really kind of get fired up. Start your engines and renew that confidence that says, I'm going to do this. I want you to give me a yes in the comments. Lock this energy in. Okay? Get back on the boat. Raise the sails. Okay? Type I'm ready in the comments. Okay? Hit the like button. Stay close to this energy. Because I feel that this is a threshold. This is taking a potential energy, a kind of an inspired creativity that's within you, and really starting to do the work in the external world to move the material world around, taking charge. This is you driving the boat. And this is that kind of wall that we're hitting right now. We're facing this wall right now. Okay? You can't let the past rejection or this resistance stay as this wall between your creative potential and you out there in the world expressing that, because you have this ability to really mirror what's inside of you out into the world in a way that's going to be, I think, very lucrative. Okay. The Two of Wands is that card of control. Yeah, it's that card of, well, it's kind of a brute force. It's kind of like, in a way, forcing yourself to do it anyway, even when it doesn't, even when you're scared. And that's kind of, that's basically discipline, right? Discipline and confidence is like doing it even when you're scared to do it, even when there's resistance, you're doing it anyway. Here we have heart and mind, right? Water and air, resistance. Over here we have heart and mind too. But now the heart and the mind have traveled further off and they're looking back into the past and they're understanding how that past is motivating them. Okay, so this tells me that we've moved on from this position. Once you start driving the boat, you put some distance there from this past. Okay, so to me it feels like our queens here have started the journey. And your heart and your mind, air and water here. Okay. Let your past rejection refine your voice and sharpen your focus, but don't let your past rejection define you. Let it refine you, not define you. Okay. The Two of Wands is taking control. This is about you doing it. You have to take the lead in something here with this. Okay? Your creativity right now is going to be the door to your destiny. You're being called to get back out there on the water and make the choice to whatever this resistance is, whatever this past thing is that's still kind of weighing you down and restricting you. Use it as fuel. Okay? And step forward. Because right now there's this opportunity for you to do so. You got to make the choice, right? To step into alignment with the divine timing. Maybe the mystery card's going to be the Wheel of Fortune. Because the Two of Wands is a card of control. It's a card of us kind of wanting to control everything. And if you're in the safe harbor, you kind of get to control the way things go. You get to kind of determine how your days are going to be, right? But if you get on the boat and you go sailing, there's only so much control you have. You can't really control the weather. You can't control the other boats. You can't control the sea, right? You can control how you respond to the weather, the other boats, and the sea, and all that stuff. And so it's kind of scary. It's almost like taking charge, taking control, and getting back on the boat and choosing to sail your boat is almost like you have to give up some control. You have the same amount of control, but when you're in a smaller container, it feels like you have all the control. You have a certain finite amount of control. And if that's as big as the fishbowl, well, then you have 100% of control. If you take that same amount of control, the same quantity, but you put it in a larger context, it goes from being 100% to 1%. Do you see what I mean? So it's really the same amount. It's just in the context it's in, it's either going to be 100% or it's going to be less. So I think that this is you with the same amount of control. You can control what you do, you can control your behavior, your responses to the world. But if you're living in a very small world, it feels like you have more control, right? Your world opens up, you still have the same amount of control, but it feels like less. So by taking this opportunity, by making this choice, by committing to something, and by sort of exerting your control and asserting your will, it's going to require that you then sort of surrender a little bit of that you're okay with that larger context. It's scary out there. There's a lot that you can't control. You can't control the weather. Okay? And I think there's part of you that really just expects it to be devastating. If I go outside the safe harbor, I expect it to be just crazy storms again. Okay? The choice is yours. The Lover's card is always a card of choice. Your destiny is calling. You either choose to go with it or you choose to stay behind. Okay. This is that kind of moment of truth. Right now, I want you to subscribe to the channel. I want you to claim this reading. Hit the like button. Okay? Hit the like button. Seal this energy in for yourself. If you need to save this video, come back later and watch it again, please do that. Okay? A big shout out to everybody that pauses the video here and there so that they can kind of like meditate upon the energy, and then they hit play again and they watch the rest and then they pause it again. And you take your time with these readings. It's okay. Yeah. Your general energy is the Queen of Swords, and I feel like the Queen of Cups as well, both of this energy, because these are energies that are looking into the past, to understand the past. The heart and the mind are looking into the past to understand where you've been. And I think that these are kind of processing the ending of something. I think realizing, heart and mind, realizing that staying in this mental emotional state is limiting you. This has been holding you back. This is like an ongoing sorrow for something that already happened. These two now seems like they've moved on from this. You know? It's still part of you, of course, it will always be part of you. But you're not letting it weigh you down. It's like, you know, you're chained to a concrete block kind of thing with this. It's an anchor. That's what it is. That's the Three of Swords. It's an anchor. Spirit is telling you to let go of this anchor and step into this opportunity, step into the flow, step into the timing. Okay? And allow this creative process to feel open and feel free and feel like effortless and joyful again. Let go of that anchor, that worry, that sorrow, that hesitation, that heartbreak, that suffering. Allow yourself to feel good. When you're in that flow state, it should feel passionate and effortless and joyful. And I feel like when you let go of that anchor, whatever this work is that you're doing, whatever this creative idea is, or whatever that destiny is, whatever that vision is that you have inside of you that you're trying to then mirror into the world, is going to feel effortless and joyful. You're going to be in that flow with that Six of Wands. Okay? And that Six of Wands. I think with the Queen of Cups, they're looking at the past. I think that this is really another confirmation that what you've experienced in the past has kind of made you a deeper, sensitive, more compassionate person. It's made your art and your creativity raw, powerful, deep. You're not like a creator that's just surface level stuff, painting pretty pictures, you know? You're doing something that really is meaningful, and I feel like connecting with other people in such a real way. And I keep feeling that kind of raw energy about it. And I don't know, maybe you are like literally an artist, but it's coming through, even if you work in an office, you're a business person, whatever it is, it's coming through that way too. Okay? This is the art of life. This is the creation of your best life. And you are a creator. You are a magic maker. Claim your role as a magic maker. Say yes in the comments. Let this energy land for you. Okay? A big shout out to everybody that takes action, okay, in the right way. Yeah. And a big shout out to everybody that shares these readings with other people. I feel like a lot of these readings, they don't just apply to Taurus. I don't care if you're a Taurus or not, you know? It feels to be the vibe of the Taurus collective, but I feel like this is a message that everybody needs to hear. So share it if you could, please. Yeah. The Six of Wands that we see, this is in the fear, worry, concern, because this tells me that you're sort of, again, you're expecting disorder, disharmony, and disappointment and sorrow, and you're not expecting it to work. Okay? You're not expecting it to work. This is that effortless and joyful feeling. Right? This is Jupiter in Leo. This is very expansive. This is an ego that's being like, really like, kind of praised. Yeah? I feel like that's what you need, because I feel like this energy here is causing insecurity and doubt and fear and hesitation, resistance, reluctance. This is an energy that's expanding your stature, your belief in yourself, right? Because this is somebody who feels capable, who feels powerful, that feels like you could just reach up into the night sky and pluck out a star and put it in your pocket, right? But something's blocking you from feeling that, right? So in other words, I feel like that Saturn energy is kind of squeezing your ego down to a little tiny point, where the ego feels like not capable of doing anything. It doesn't even feel safe to move. I got to stay in the storm shelter. That's the only place it's safe. Doing this work, overcoming that resistance, is going to bring you a lot of success. This is a win. This is a win that's going to kind of like, it's going to stoke up your ego fire a little bit. It's going to bring you more confidence. It's going to bring you more fire and more creativity. It's compounding. Okay? It's going to make you feel more capable. It's going to bring some of that fiery lust, passion energy back. Maybe this is literally about creativity. Maybe they're saying you're a painter and you had some bad days with the painting and stuff and other people and maybe some rejection, and so you didn't want to paint anymore. Spirit's telling you, you're the painter, get out there and paint. You're the sailboat, get out there and sail. You're going to step into that flow, you're going to step into these winds, and it's going to make you feel more confident. Okay? You got to drop these anchors. And now the Ace of Cups here in the end, that to me feels like bliss. Okay, that feels like kind of like the doorway to your destiny, right? I feel like whatever you're creating now is kind of like a seed. Yeah, you got to plant. It's kind of, you got to get out there and plant those seeds, the creative seeds again, because I think you did it before, and it didn't grow, or what you planted was rejected, or however you want to explain this. You've got to force yourself to go plant another one. Okay? And this is that creative idea. This is you taking a chance on your heart, taking a chance on your vision. Maybe this is romance. It could be. Maybe what you're creating is that relationship where you can be passionately in love and confident and happy and in that kind of a relationship flow. Maybe it's happening maybe this is at work. Maybe this is your school. Maybe this is your business. Maybe this is your physical kind of art. Maybe this is a romantic relationship for you. It could be. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is how and why, and maybe why not. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you trying to mirror that love and creativity that you have in your heart? Why aren't you mirroring that out in the world, within the external connection? In other words, with another person, or with life, with the environment, with reality, with the universe. It could very well be romantic. Could be a soulmate kind of thing. You got to plant the seed of whatever this is. You've got to be willing to open your heart and take a chance on what's in there and let it come out. Get back on the boat kind of thing, okay? Because your destiny is calling. Now, let's look at this mystery card. Eon card, Judgment, Wheel of Fortune, Empress, or Star. Yeah. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. 7 of Swords. The 7 of Swords is getting closer, because I feel like this is at least you're trying to move forward now, and you're kind of like, you're still looking back, still getting kind of distracted by this past, or by that pessimism, or by that kind of the Saturn energy, right? It's still there. Almost feels like you're dragging the anchor behind you, right? Rather than just completely letting it go. My left ear just started ringing. I take that as a sign. Yeah. Take that as a sign that we're onto something here. And I think that it's more difficult than you realize to let go of the anchors. It's not that easy. You can't just let it go. And that's why I think you need this Mars and Aries energy. You have to kind of force yourself to do it. Then once you do, then this kind of gets put into context. I think you step into that flow and you step into that kind of harmony. But when you first are dealing with the anchor, it's heavy. I mean, it's an anchor. It's down there, probably wrapped up in a bunch of seaweed and dirt and whatever's down at the bottom of the lake or the ocean. So it takes a lot of effort to pull it up. It takes a lot of effort to get going initially. Once you get going, start to pick up speed and momentum, right? The first step is always the most difficult step, and that Ace of Cups is the first step now. This is you still meeting with resistance, but knowing that you have to stay focused and continue to do it anyway. This to me feels like you're using that rejection to sharpen your focus. You realize that it's an anchor, which means you're going to have to pull harder. Pull harder until it really gives way, and then you can just kind of like reel it up, put it back in the boat. When the anchor's in the boat, it doesn't slow you down. It's only when it's dragging behind you, right, that it slows the boat down, because it gets tangled up in other stuff. Or it's just creating drag through the water. But once you put it on the boat, it's supposed to be there. It's not causing you any problems, okay? So it's going to take an act of will to get things going. But once they start going, it's going to get easier, okay? That's the message here. And now we're going to do an extended message. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner here. There's a link in the video description here. New readings for Taurus Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.